In this episode, I'm exploring the ruins of the Musselman Vesta furnace. Why did it decay? What's the history? What's going on now? How did I like exploring this place and how did I feel? All this info will be throughout the video, along with some old pictures from this location and some live sounds. What's the history of this location? The Musselman Vesta furnace was built in 1868 by Henry Musselman from Marietta and Henry Miller Watt. It was the last of the 8 fired hot blast iron furnaces to be built on the river floodplain between Columbia and Marietta, and the last complete blast furnace to be constructed in Lancaster County. In the second half of the 19th and 20th century, these architect iron furnaces, along with related canal and railroad structures that served them, created an industrial complex on the Susquehanna River floodplain and had local regional importance as a producer of pig iron. The furnaces were an example of the technology of the period by their use of architect coal and hot blast for smelting of iron ores, a process which demonstrated the iron industrial for a brief time before the use of coke as fuel became more important. Furnaces such as the Musselman Vesta furnace used coal, which was brought down from the northeastern Pennsylvania. At first, Vesta, the Pennsylvania Canal system, was boarded the river and later by rail lines. Local iron ores were available, along with local limestone and flux. The pig iron produced in the furnace was used by local rolling mills to make rails for growing railroad industrial. These furnaces helped to make Pennsylvania a leader in iron production in the second half of the 19th century. Lancaster County ranked high in the state in production of pig iron during this period. Shortly after the completion of the Musselman Vesta furnace in 1868, the partnership of Musselman and Watt, which had been responsible for building the neighboring Marietta number 1 and number 2 furnace, as well as dissolved. Henry Musselman took the new furnace, which he named Musselman Furnace, and H.M. Watt kept the Marietta furnace. By 1870, Musselman Furnace was producing an annual yield of 5,400 tons of pig iron. In 1879, H. Musselman and Sons sold the furnace to the firm of Watts, Thrills and Company. In subsequent years, the furnace was remodeled several times. Ores for the furnace were obtained from Maryland and West Virginia, as well as from Cornwall and local mines. By 1886, its annual capacity had increased to 22,500 tons of pig iron, renamed the Vesta Furnace. Its products were described as natural forge and super finely iron, and sold under the brand name Vesta. Vesta was the Roman goddess of the health, whose temples had the internal flame. The success of blast furnaces related to how long each blast lasted. In 1887, the furnace was sold to Columbia Rolling Company, remodeled in 1890, with the addition of 2 Whitestone stoves, and sold in 1899 to Susquehanna Iron and Steel Company, which also owned the Agua furnace in Whitesville, who monetized it in 1908, sold it to Susquehanna Iron Company. In 1917, the Susquehanna Iron Company sold the furnace to E.J. Levo of Sterling, Pennsylvania. Levo put it back into operation, smelting scrap and producing manganese used for high-grade steel during World War I. According to George Miller, a local Medernita resident who had worked at the furnace for 16 years before it closed, 10 carloads of scrap iron and manganese ores were fed into the furnace each day to produce a daily output of 80 tons of manganese. Millers noted that the manganese ores came from all over the world, and its manganese produced was shipped by rail to steel mills in Youngstown, Ohio, Coatesville, and Pittsburgh. The furnace burned coke 5 carloads per day, which came from Cornville in western Pennsylvania. By that time, the furnace had 4 hot blast stoves, which preheated air to 1,300 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 load blow engines, a gas washer, and dryer to precaution gases before they were sent to preheaters and boilers in the pumping system to bring water from the river to the stream. Engines. New stock sheds and new railway lines on concrete pillars were also added. Remains of the pump house, pillars, and other foundations are visible today among the undergrowth on the site. The Limbavie Company owned the furnace company until 1949, but production of iron ceased in 1920s. Then the furnace was dismantled sometime between 1928 and 1934. The property was eventually acquired by Lancaster County as part of the Chickadees Rock County Park. Well, maybe not.
$1900s.
Wow.
I think it dates back in the 1950 area.
Wow.
Yeah, if you go down through Chicky's Tunnel, whatnot, there's abandoned buildings back there as well. Well, at least you're more, you got more ability to put the stuff on, and not me.
What stuff?
You got the pants, you got the shirts. I just jump in.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when you explore. I've been doing this since 2020.
What made you get into it?
My ex and I decided we wanted to try it together, but then COVID hit, and then I continued to explore, and then I started going with other friends and other explorers. So yeah, I've gone to over 100 places.
Nice.
I didn't see that. Blankets. Why did it decay? Structures exposed to elements like rain, sun, wind, and freezing thawing cycles are susceptible to weathering and decay. In this case of the Musselman Vesta furnace, this is probably relevant since parts of the stone and brick wall foundations remain visible. Water damage. Unchecked water prevention from rain or leaks can rot wood, rust metal, dissolve plaster, and damage masonry. significant compound building's structural integrity. This was a major issue for the furnace office building located in a floodplain. Vegetation growth. Over time, animals and insects that further contribute to the building's decay. Human interference. Abandoned structures can become targets for vandalism, theft of materials, and accidental damage, which accelerates the decay process. Not any stuff. What's going on now? On exhibit in the center are photos, information, and artifact displays from 7 of the furnaces, the nearby lumber mill, and the canal and railroad that are in the Chickadee's historic district. The stories of the people who lived and worked at those sites are featured. A diorama of the furnace is currently under construction in the center. On special occasion, information guided tours of the adjacent ruins of the Musselman furnace are concluded. Future plans include the labeling of those architectural sites as an educational area for schools and the public. In addition, other educational programs may be offered in nature science fields.
Not even close on subscribers, so.
Yeah, it's for watch hours. You need 4,000 watch hours. I've only got 1,300. How did I like exploring this place and how did I feel? This place was so cool to explore. I loved checking out the old ruins. I also got to have a private tour of one of the buildings. It had so many artifacts. Wow, that was cool. I felt really safe here. It's a fun place to explore. It's kind of nice to have this because I don't have to like move all the way around and stuff.
This here's the slag. That's the impurities that were fluxed out of the iron. The iron, the molten metal itself, that would float to the top, and they tap that off. And when it's solidified, that's what it looked like. That's called slag. So that was the junk. They threw that away.
So this is all stuff they throw away here.
Yeah, there's mountains of it here at one time. Yep. And there's your pig iron. That's an actual piece that we found, just a chunk, rejected chunk of one. This is a modern day pig here. Back in the day, they were 40 inches long.
Wow. And then you told me that this here was an old, well, the loop here was from an old train.
Yeah, the loop right there is from that's from a train car. It was in the creek where the train actually crossed the creek down here. Yep, the railroad.
Wow.
Yeah. You need to go, Dave.
No, I'm all right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all right.
I got that cord. I thought it might be easier to bring it down that cord.
Maybe.
Just drop it to the cord.
Yeah, I'd either rather get a skid or a board or something and lay it on it and just slide it down, but either one would probably work.
Go out.
Just come down one at a time, maybe. So. We have everything numbered there, and if you look at the
Thanks for watching my video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and lastly, don't forget to hit the notification button so you'll know when new videos get released.